Whovian and a Nuvian walk into a TARDIS
and explore every episode of the classic Doctor Who series.
Join me, podcaster John S. Drew,
and me, writer-editor Jim Beard, as we take apart each story starting from the very beginning in 1963.
And join us on our Facebook page and Twitter, where we continue the discussion with you with historical artifacts from British papers of the time. The Doctor's Beard podcast, released every Saturday around tea time on your favorite podcasting app.
And we'll see you in time and space.
You're listening to Doctor Who Gives a drunken Doctor Who podcast for the end times.
Hello, and welcome to Doctor Who Gives a Fuck, a drunken Doctor Who podcast for the end times. This is JB in New Orleans, and I am not guilty of falsifying records to steal an election.
This is Sean in Austin, and I am negative 34 counts away from being guilty of any offenses.
And this is Chris in Springfield, and I can't even afford a hooker. Oh, shit. It fucking broke Sean.
Well, no.
that was me.
That's JB.
Oh,
that's JB.
Broke JB. 5 minutes in, and we broke JB.
Oh, I've been broken a long time ago.
You know, I'm going to beg to differ there for you. I think you probably could afford a hooker, but...
yeah, I mean, what's the going rate of hookers in Springfield? You know, I
have no fucking idea.
I mean, why don't you ask your local politician there, your local...
I'm
Illinois,
sure there's one I could
congressman.
get for a half-smoked cigarette somewhere, but I just...
I took this week-long vacation. It was actually like a workcation for me. I had to go back to Illinois to sort out my dad's various accounts that he still had open. And part of that trip, I actually went over to see some of my extended family members. I have aunts, uncles, and cousins on my mom's side who live in Mount Vernon, Illinois. And I hadn't seen them in like quite a long time. And I was sitting around a table with like a few of my aunts and uncles. They were asking me, "So do you still like Doctor Who?" It's like, "Yeah, I still watch it."
It's a loaded question.
Yeah, it is a loaded question. And then of course, without any prompting, my aunt's husband goes, "He's a black guy now." And I said, "Yes." And before that, he was a woman. Like, oh, good Lord. And then then they started getting into the conversation about how like the Little Mermaid's black now, and like they're taking away all of her, stories and characters and everything. And it's like, they are not taking away. It's all still fucking there. It's like some people who do not look like us would like to see themselves represented on film or, television or wherever, and that's as far as it got. And then my aunt was talking about how they, when they were little, they used to live in St. Louis, my mom's family. There was like a portion of town that within the family, they referred to that neighborhood as N-word town.
I knew you were going to say that. I don't know why I knew you were going to say that.
I did too.
And my Aunt Ray was talking about how when she was little, she was like, "Why don't they have a sign
for N-word town?"
Yes, for N-word town, yes. And they had to like sit her down and say, "Well, okay, well it's."
We don't put
It's really
that
something
on
you're not supposed to
signs.
say, but you don't put
Yeah.
that on signs. It's certainly something you're not supposed to say, but we say it anyway because we think it's funny.
Me and the guys I work with nowadays, when referring to someone saying the N-word, I guess this is a new word that the kids all use, but they refer to it as a hard R.
Okay.
And I picked that up from when
okay.
he's like, this dude was just dropping hard R's left and right. And I was like, what the fuck is a hard R? And he explained it to me. It's the N-word. It's just another easy way of conveying that knowledge,
As opposed to when you say it without the R, which is much more informal.
Right. It's more of a familial thing than
Yeah.
Because
Okay,
when you
so-
say it with an A,
Oh.
that's more like something you'd call your buddy, like, what's up, my blank,
Yeah.
But with the hard R, that's like, if you drop the hard R on there, you're definitely using it as a pejorative.
Okay, then. That's something that I don't think is going to be going on any of Darlene's textbooks that she's working on.
Probably
Okay.
not.
All right.
Okay. Well, I think we've beaten the bush long enough here. We've got some Doctor Who to talk about, I guess. I don't think any of us are really enthused to really talk about it. I mean, I'm just me kind of projecting myself here, but who wants to start?
I can, I guess.
Okay.
Okay, so let's, I guess, dive right in with Space Babies, which is probably the biggest flaming piece of shit episode of Doctor Who I've ever fucking watched.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't even, like, I pride myself and I've seen every episode a minimum of twice.
Yeah.
I still haven't gotten the intestinal fortitude up to go back and watch that one again. That was, holy shit. It was 20 fucking minutes of Ncuti Gatwa and Ruby just cooing at babies.
Well, actually,
who fucking needs that?
Okay, well, actually, the first 15 minutes or so of the episode was basically like the first, like when you're playing a video game, and like the first level of the video game is like the characters basically instructing you how to play the video game.
Right.
Press R for this, press L for this. This is how you do this, blah, blah, blah. This was the same thing, basically spoon feeding to everyone who has never seen an episode of Doctor Who how the show works. This is a TARDIS. It looks like a police box because it landed in 1963. Its chameleon circuit is stuck. Oh, how can we understand alien languages? It's something that I share with you. Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
and
I can forgive that though. I get it. I understand why they were doing that.
I look forward to that sometimes because it's a different way.
It was just so perfunctory the way they did it. It was just, it was just to make that part of the story. It just felt like the very first level of a video game where you're learning how to use the controls and you're not actually you're not actually in the game. You're
just dry exposition.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And then we get to the space babies. Oh my God, the fucking space babies.
I really honestly don't know anybody. Well, maybe I do. But I don't know how anybody could objectively sit there and enjoy this. I instantly was like, Sean, it's just because there's babies and you hate babies. Okay, I will admit maybe that does have a part of it. There is a part of me that recoils mentally when I see babies. But these babies are unspeakable. They talk, and the nobody. It's like, okay, guys, their mouths are not matching up with what they're saying. I know you guys, don't have an Oscar.
Yeah.
In special effects, you didn't make Godzilla -1, but I think you can do that. I really think you can. And then I totally didn't understand something. The babies have to be changed. They have to they have to be taken care of like babies. Yet they're running the fucking spaceship?
Right. Yeah, it makes no sense.
Yeah, why are they babies?
Because they've been there for 6 years. They should
be 6-year-olds then.
Which actually I wouldn't mind seeing. That would be a lot more interest seeing kids act than these horrible babies. And they're stupid.
Those babies had to have been drugged. There's no fucking way those babies weren't going to be able to like just stand there. They looked like they were fucking
there
was
some Milos Notice shit going on there, I think. But no, you're like, okay, wait. Let's pretend they're not babies. Let's pretend this is a really boring Pertwee episode and they're colonists. So they're grown-ass people sitting around this spaceship doing nothing. And, the doctor shows up. Okay, well, that's a pretty dull story. Okay, but there's a booger monster. What? There's a booger monster.
Didn't we already do a booger monster and nobody liked it then?
Well, that was an eye booger monster. That wasn't a nose booger monster.
It's all snot in the end, bro.
It's not pleasant. Okay, I think I can handle shit. I can handle semen. I can handle blood. But there is something about boogers that I find so disgustingly repulsive that if I was really drunk watching it, I would throw up. And the scene about the reveal on that is not funny. And he's cackling like I cackle at my mom when she cries at movies. He thinks it's hilarious. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? This doesn't make any sense. Why don't she's got it in her hair. You're a monster. Okay. And then this is the thing. I hated this so much. I'm sitting there watching it. And Tom looks at me. He goes, "You hate this, don't you?" I said, "Yeah. How do you know?" He goes, You look like you're watching like a really gross video, like he didn't say snuff film, but something where something like, yeah, this is what this
torture porn.
And I did not say it online, but I said it to him. I said, and I'm not taking the words from Chris right now. I said, this I think is the worst episode of Doctor Who I've ever seen. It's no longer Time Flight. It's this tremendous, huge piece of shit. And I didn't finish watching it. I stopped about 10 minutes in. I'm sorry, 10 minutes away from the end. And then the other night I was podcasting with the other folks about this. Mm-hmm. And they pointed out, there's a fart joke at the end where they put all the methane and they farted out in the thing. I'm like, you are kidding me.
Yeah.
You
they
are
fly
kidding
home with
me.
a big fart. Yep.
I'm like, you know what? You know what saved me? You know what fucking saved me from either busting my TV or not being here tonight? Is that they dropped 2 episodes at once. And I don't know if this is on purpose because I question...
Oh, it was totally on purpose. It was completely on purpose because it's like, my God, why start with Space Beast?
Oh, man,
what were you thinking, RTD?
Yeah.
What were you fucking thinking?
That should have been absolutely like mid-season filler.
Yes.
At best.
No, it shouldn't.
Ideally, it shouldn't exist. Yeah.
No. This should have been. God, no. This was. Oh man.
I can't think of one that is as bad as this. I think maybe the Capaldi one with the forest at the end of the city, which is actually still kind of cool, but it doesn't make a lick of fucking sense.
Watchable at least.
Yeah,
it's watchable at least
really cool.
At least the kids could act.
Yeah, I remember that about it.
Yes,
but this was horrendous. This, I would have been so ashamed to be that lady who plays Jocelyn. I don't care about the babies; they're going to live full lives doing whatever makes them happy. But that lady, that actress, I feel bad for her. That she's the only person in here who's a one-off. I don't think there are any other grown actors in it. I may be wrong.
Well, whoever was in the fucking Booger Man suit.
Yeah, the Booger Monster.
Well, nobody knows who that is, and I don't know. I'd be so ashamed if I got the script. Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson. Am I remembering her name right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. They can say, well, this one isn't that great, but at least I have Boom to fall back on. I don't understand how this piece of shit ever made it past like the pre-production stage. I don't know if this is the case with Doctor Who, but I've been reading a lot about the making of Columbo and all that. And so many of these shows, and I know that Columbo's different country, different time, all that, but a lot of shows, if they have 20 episodes, they've got 60 scripts to choose from. I just can't believe that this beat it out.
Well, the problem
something
is
that somebody else submitted.
The problem is you have a showrunner who's writing 6 out of the 8 slots.
Yeah, and I feel so stupid pointing it out because it's the same problem since the beginning of Doctor Who. So
since the beginning of the modern age.
Yeah, the modern age. Yeah.
Yes.
But the one thing that saved me was the fact that they put 2 of these out. And I watched The Devil's Chord first because it had Jinx Monsoon in it, and I was really excited to watch it. So I was on kind of a high by the time that one was over. Spoiler, I enjoyed that one more. I fucking enjoy everything more than this. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I'll watch Space Babies now. Fuck. That fuck, that's exactly when we saw the babies talk.
Yeah.
That fucking moment right there.
Yeah.
And the babies are so stupid. Okay, I get it. You can't walk. You've got short arms and legs. You can't change each other's diapers, but you think you can go and fight the booger monster with your little wooden sword? That's stupid, Eric. Why did you do that? Why did you?
Because the script said that he needed to do that. Why is that woman afraid to face him? Oh, because I don't want to see them die. Well, tough fucking shit. You know?
They're fucking babies. They need to be taken care of. Oh, and I'm sorry. Oh, if that's what the booger monster looks like, those babies are not clean. And because when they blow their noses, they are not real. That's just down the creep show tube. Because that's what E.G. Marshall has in Creep Show. He's got one of those. But man, I hated this. And I know that we're known for not really enjoying all of Doctor Who, but this was bad. This was like if you have a podcast and you don't say anything bad about this episode, there might be something wrong with you.
Well, okay, I guess that means there's something wrong with Radio Free Scarro because they all liked it.
Oh my God. How?
No, I've seen online several people saying they liked it, and I'm like, what? How? What?
Yeah.
What was there to enjoy here?
This failed because they tried to make a serious statement about pro-choice, pro-life. You're going to have the kid, but you're going to make us have the kids, but then you're not going to do a goddamn thing about it once they're born. If this was done as a joke, if this was done as a farce, if this was done as a camp, I would forgive it.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
But if this was done tongue-in-cheek, I would forgive. I mean, you can kind of say that about the next episode.
I could see something like this working like in Hitchhiker's Guide.
Red Dwarf. This is totally a Red Dwarf. This is a complete Red Dwarf ripoff. This would have been fine if
it would have been comedy.
It would have been comedy. Yes, it would have fit with the show. It doesn't work on Doctor Who because they want to take themselves so goddamn seriously. And I'm sorry, it's just like the babies are stoned out of their gourd. Oh, Ruby, I love you so much, Ruby. It's like, fuck off.
This is it. This is the worst. This is it.
I really can't think of anything positive to say about this episode, honestly. And I tried to come up with something.
Uh-uh.
I think the booger monster actually looks pretty good if you don't know it's if you don't know it's made out of boogers.
It does not. No.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. If you don't know it's made out of boogers.
I know it's made out of rubber, and I know that they shot it split second here, cut, and distort the image so you can't get a good look at it.
I think that's fine. I think it's fine. As long as it doesn't look like, I don't know, the Lazarus Project, which it would look terrible if it looked like that. It would look outdated.
Okay, well, you're talking degrees of badness here because that was bad, and this was also bad. You've got the Merca, you've got the Lazarus Pit, and you got the Booger Monster.
This one's definitely going in the category with the Merca.
And then, I mean, they're afraid of it. They're afraid of it. They're afraid of it. Oh, we got to save it now.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah, and some of the explanations for shit, like, the whole thing with the doctors, like, why am I actually afraid of this thing? And it's like, oh, because it was designed to make babies afraid or something. It's like, do you really have to go to that much trouble to scare a fucking baby?
There was a misconnect there, RTD, because in the very next story, which we'll get to shortly, he's literally afraid of the villain. And he shows fear again in the episode after that. And I think in every episode that we're going to talk about. So I don't think we needed to have that additional explanation of, oh, you fear the monster because you're programmed to fear it. What?
Mm-hmm. It made no sense to me.
Just be afraid of a scary monster. It's okay to be afraid.
He actually made a point about it too. Because like, why am I afraid? Usually I'm like, hello, I'm the doctor. Have a jelly baby. But no, he was because it was basically like it was part of the story, and it's just like I've got a theory that I will touch on. I'm going to go ahead and touch on it now because I'm probably too drunk to remember it later on.
Okay,
touch it.
Okay, yeah, I'm touching it.
Do you need a pencil? Because sometimes when you're touching on something or making a point, it helps to have a pencil.
No, I don't need to edge myself. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay.
What?
So this whole thing about breaking the fourth wall, which happens a lot in the second episode, and this is all part of the story. This is all part of this is all fantasy now. This is all storybook now. There's this whole thing about he is coming. Something is fucking coming. You think I'm bad? Wait till the big bad shows up. This is just a shot in the dark. But I think that the main big bad that's coming is going to be the master of the land of fiction.
That tracks.
Because this whole thing about it, it's all part of a storybook. I mean, that was the fucking mind robber.
Mm-hmm.
I really like that idea, and I don't like trying to guess because my close personal friend Steve, that I do a Murder, She Wrote podcast, does not watch Doctor Who anymore, but he goes and he watches the videos on YouTube, and they're worse than we are right now.
Oh yeah, no, because they have an agenda. Because they're anti-woke. Anything that's like of common sense is just too woke for them. And they think Elon's God, and they think they're probably Trumpers. They won't admit it, but they're fucking Trumpers. But no, I mean I think we are a dying breed. We can look at this objectively and still say it's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I said to him, like, Steve, you're breaking me heart. Stop looking at this other stuff. Just watch the episodes. Here's my email and password. And I forget why I brought him up. What were you breaking? Oh, he asks me constantly. Goes, I heard a rumor that Susan is coming back. What do you think about that? And these questions irritate me so much. Not Steve asking them, but just the existence of the questions. It's like, I don't care. I'll just watch it. I'm not going to... I've been burned on my ass for trying to figure out how it's all going to end before. And, this isn't a Knives Out movie. I'm just going to go roll with it. Right. So there was part of me that rolled my eyes a little bit when you mentioned, it's a good... But I did really enjoy that theory because if they bring back... when they created him in the 60s, now they could use all kinds of like TV shows and maybe movies. It would almost be like Ready Player One set in Doctor Who. But would they do that? That sounds kind of expensive, so I don't know. That's why I mentioned it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's starting to kick in.
Oh. Okay then. I guess we should probably kick on to story number 2, which was the Devil's Chord.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay, Sean, you want to go first on this one?
Yeah, I have a question for y'all because I found out, I'm assuming this person is common knowledge, but I guess not. Which of you had heard of Jinx Monsoon before this?
That was you.
Okay.
I'd heard of him, but I'd heard of her, but I only heard of her when the news came out that she was going to be on Doctor Who.
Right, same here. I read up that she was a contestant on RuPaul's Drag Race. She was the winner, and then they had an All-Stars season, and she won that.
Yeah,
and that's all I knew.
Okay. If you want to have a good time, go and Google or YouTube some of the stuff that she's done on RuPaul's Drag Race, especially in the Snatch game. It's playing Liza Minnelli and what's her name? Poker Face. I always forget
Lady
her
Gaga.
name. No, the show Poker Face. Natasha Lyonne.
My girl. Yeah.
She does a really good Natasha Lyonne. It's perfect.
Okay.
But so I had seen, she won RuPaul's twice. She was on Broadway playing the warden in Chicago, and I think she's doing the voice of Audrey too. When I say Broadway, I just mean like in a company touring. To me, anything fancy. But to me, it's like she was like this was what sealed it for her to be like an established actress. Like before, it was just there was the stage, but there was the reality TV shows, which is not what usually clinches it. So I was really looking forward to this because of her. And I really enjoyed it because of her and because of Chuigawa. I didn't enjoy it because of the Beatles, but that was almost like a side thing. So that's why I really enjoyed this. And I could get why somebody would think like, oh, she's, grandstanding. It's a little bit over the top. I kind of get that because that's kind of what being a drag performer is, isn't it? I
was going to say she's a drag queen. That's their whole shtick is being over the top. Of course she is,
Yeah. But I'm biased. I mean, when I came, I liked it for that reason. But if I had never heard of Jinx Monsoon, I probably would have thought this episode was really dull because really not a lot happens. I like some of the music stuff, but
I don't understand the character's motivation. I don't understand the concept of the character. She what is she? She eats the music, and
she's an Eternal.
Okay.
Like the Toy Master or the Eternals in the Fifth Doctor story with the Enlightenment. Yeah.
She was too much for me, to be quite honest. She was like Victor Bruno as King Tut on Batman turned up to 20.
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, wow.
And it's like, she just like, hello there, I'm here. And just over, I was like, oh my fucking God. The staff of music, the string of music that, she uses to ensnare people is like, oh my God, it's the fucking scribble monster from Fear Her.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was watching a cartoon. All right, so this is me being like a Beatles aficionado here. I understand why they probably couldn't do it because they didn't have the rights to do it, but they could have just like, deep faked the Beatles and at least it would have been halfway believable. But Paul, quote unquote, Paul looked like he was in his 40s. The guy who was John he was okay, but he certainly did not wear the round glasses back in 1963. He didn't wear those.
That I didn't understand that. I mean, I didn't expect doppelgangers either, but
you don't need to have him to wear the fucking glasses to know that's John. And okay, so the whole thing about the music maestro comes into being in the 1920s. Because the Devil's Chord is played. And I mean, Devil's Chord is not the lost chord. I mean, the Devil's Chord is used all the time in music. She manifests in 1920, and like by 1963, the Beatles are, they're playing this, really crappy music, which reminded me a lot of like very early Pink Floyd. I mean,
that was hilarious.
Yeah. This is like Syd Barrett era Pink Floyd that they were doing there.
The look on the doctors and Ruby's faces. Are we talking about the same scene?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, when they start recording, and it's like,
the song about the dog.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I love. Yeah, exactly. Okay, and then so when they fix things, does that retroactively change history, or do they just suddenly know how to play music now? because I mean the Beatles, for them to be recording in 1963, they had to play. I mean, they had to learn the instruments. They had to play together. They started playing together, I think, as a group in like the late 50s, and in 1960, they did their long stint in Hamburg, Germany, and they worked them. I mean, they learned their repertoire. They really built themselves up, and they were a really crappy covers band, but they through the years, they worked themselves up and to be an act. So for them to suddenly be able to play their music, I don't know. I don't think that can happen. I think, if they didn't have those years behind them, they wouldn't be the Beatles at all. I don't know if I'm making any sense here.
No, I know what you're saying.
I equate it as in I think it's like an alternate timeline where once they, banished the maestro back to wherever she came from, then it becomes the timeline we're on. So the Beatles have been exactly what we know of.
Everything just snaps back like a rubber band.
Right.
Okay. They didn't really specify that.
Or rubber soul, if you will.
Yeah. Well, that was after.
Well, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I do. I do have some things that were questionable here, though. It was not a perfect episode, even though we're like, why the fuck did he have those guys bring the piano to the roof?
God. Because it was
so they could do a musical number. Durr.
Well, no, because it was trying to evoke "Let It Be" when the Beatles played on the roof.
I know, and that's exactly what I thought of.
And because we had to have the scene of him standing on the edge of the building, saying, "Yeah, I used to live right there in Totter's Lane," and I'm there now with my granddaughter Susan. We have to have the obligatory Susan reference that perks up. Everyone's like, "Oh, they're bringing Susan." They're never bringing Susan back. That is never going to happen. So it's basically because we can. We don't have to have a reason, because we can.
And I can't remember which of you said it. That you said that you felt like you were watching a cartoon.
That was me.
I think that was exactly the point, because at one point, Maestro puts the Doctor in a drum, like in a snare drum. I don't know if I got that right. Anyway, he's obviously too big to fit in there. I mean, he's not a large man, but he's still too big to fit in a drum.
It's maybe transcendental, spatially, it's bigger on the inside.
But, okay. But all these things, these are very cartoony things. It's all very Roger Rabbit.
Yes.
And, but I like it because I felt like that's what it was going for, because the Maestro is manipulating time. By the way, Jinx Monsoon says, maybe this was after the fact, I don't know, and it was also on the Doctor Who channel on YouTube, that her inspiration for the character was Missy in earlier, well, you know where Missy is.
Wow.
I'm gonna, I don't know.
It may have been a starting point for her, but I mean, she took it to her own level.
Yeah, she did her own thing. I thoroughly enjoyed Jinx Monsoon in this. I thought she was a great villain. I liked it. I mean, yeah, it was definitely over the top and cartoonish, but like Sean said, I think that's kind of what they were going for. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of what I was expecting, and I liked it. I thought she was great. I'd like to see another episode or two with her in it. Mm-hmm. But the story overall was just fucking crap. Once again, it just made no fucking sense at all. It's like they're just making up elements that they want to be in the story and neglecting to actually build a structure to put it on that makes some kind of coherent sense. It's just scenes slapped together. The Beatles you could have done this whole story without dragging the Beatles into it.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think by bringing them in, they made it any better.
Well, the thing is that so they somehow discovered the chord that brings that basically brings the music maestro back to her dimension. And this is like, okay, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the world of Superman, but there's a character called Mr. Mitzpikalik.
Oh my God.
And he's an imp
bizarre.
from the fifth. He's an imp from the fifth dimension. And
I'm so sorry. Please pause what you're going to say.
Yes.
I fucking learned about this character probably 2 hours ago. reading some. I don't know what I was reading. There was a picture of the guy that played him in the TV show. It was the guy that was in Bonnie and Clyde. If you saw him, you'd recognize him.
Okay.
Mixelplit. Yes. What the fuck was I reading? It was probably on the internet. Okay.
So anyway, this character, he's an imp from the fifth dimension, and he's basically a troublemaker, and he's got magical powers, and he's always using them to bug the crap out of Superman. And so basically every episode or every story that he's in, Superman has to somehow trick him into saying his name backwards.
Huh.
And then once he does that, he gets teleported back to his own dimension, and he cannot return to our dimension for 90 days.
Wow, that sounds really familiar.
Yes, it does, Sean. Yes, it does.
Huh.
So I'm watching a fucking Mr. Pickle story here. That's basically what it was, and it's like, okay,
what was that again?
All right, this was kind of harmless. What?
How's that go again?
Mr. Pickleick.
Wait, can I just say though that it is a common thing. I mean, let's say for example, horror movies. When you say Candyman 3 or 5 times or whatever, you're bringing him into your dimension from his dimension. Yes. When you fall asleep, you enter Freddy Krueger's dimension. So there's a lot of this, a lot of this in pop culture.
Okay,
I'm not just saying I don't think he stole it from Superman.
No, I don't think so, but it was very reminiscent of that for me.
Yeah.
So I would almost forgive the story. And then we had the fucking twist at the end.
Okay. All right.
That was another fuck you, I'm going to do what I want.
Wait, what?
Because
what twist?
The whole fucking musical number at the end.
Oh, the Bollywood ending?
Yes.
Yeah.
The song was horrible.
I think that was totally just Disney trying to appeal to a fucking international audience, and someone's like, let's throw a Bollywood ending on it. I think that's like the only explanation for what happened there.
It was there just to be there. It wasn't part of a story. Okay, so there's an episode of Legends of Tomorrow, which is the CWDC time traveling show. And I won't get into the specifics of the plot, but in the middle of the episode, there's this big Bollywood number. It's actually integrated into the plot of the story. This was just tacked on at the end because we can just fucking do it.
Have you ever seen like a Bollywood show?
Oh, yeah, I have. No, I have.
That's how they do it, though. They'll just tack that onto the end, and it's like it has no bearing on the actual story whatsoever. It's just everybody just does a fucking musical number at the end.
I never thought of that. That's absolutely right. And that okay. I have to be completely honest. I liked the musical number.
It was. I mean, the song was just. It was. It's not very memorable, but it was just bad. We had Chudy got winking directly to camera again, breaking the fourth wall again, kind of cementing my theory that this is all like in the land of fiction here. And then we have the big ending with them playing the piano on the crosswalk on Abbey Road. And I will tell you this right now. I was at that crosswalk on Abbey Road. And you're crossing that crosswalk, you're taking your life in your own hands because the cars coming from the other side, the side that you don't see, it kind of like there's like it's basically like a hill. So the cars are going up the hill, and then they reach the point where the crosswalk is, and they ain't stopping.
Yeah.
So you really have to watch yourself with crossing. And then this is also a nitpick. Abbey Road is on the other side of the street.
Oh,
it's.
So if I were to bring my 4 friends from the U.S. and we get up there, and I even bring my mom's neighbor Carol because no one else can come, and she's going to make the 4th. And Carol's got to take her shoes off and all. It's a big production because she's playing Paul. And I'm going to put the 4 of them across the road. And I'm going to have to ask these 70-plus-year-old people to stay still while I take a picture. It's probably not going to happen.
No, you're going to get plowed into.
Okay. All right. I don't want to get plowed.
Because Darlene's like, hurry up so I can get this shot. Just get over there.
I'd be like... Or there's that episode of Absolutely Fabulous where they go to the Abbey Road studios and they look down and they see the tourists standing in the road and they yell at them, "Ponce off! Get out! Piss off!"
Okay, so did you guys recognize the old woman who was playing piano before she got killed by the maestro?
Yeah.
Negative. Was it the neighbor lady again? Or no, she was a lunch lady in this one.
No, it's the woman. Okay, so we have the scene where Ruby's playing her piece and like she's suddenly bringing music back and like all the people who are like looking out in the windows and are like they're basically breaking down because it's like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. We've been missing this in our lives.
There's 4 people that do this. One of them looked like AI to me. He really triggered my uncanny valley. And I couldn't help but the older guy, when he opens up his window starts to come down a little bit, and it really freaked me out.
Yeah, but there's an old woman, and then like later on, she actually gets on her piano and she starts playing, and then the music meister comes out. That old woman was played by June Hudson, who was the woman who designed Tom Baker's season 18 costume.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would not have been able to pick her out of a lineup, man.
Yeah, neither would I. I mean, I found that out afterwards. So,
but going back to what Chris said about the lunch lady, there is this recurring lady.
Yeah, because she is also in this next episode playing the ambulance.
She's appeared in every episode so far.
And her last name is Twist, the actress. So there's a twist at the end.
Okay.
Fuck.
I don't know. Somebody pointed it out, and I didn't take it as a joke, sir. I wouldn't be laughing. I mean, this is conspiracy level shit.
This is 34 felony convictions right here.
I take issue with the scene where the Doctor brings Ruby to the alternate universe, the quote unquote real timeline, our timeline, and shows her that.
You mean the Pyramid of Mars scene?
Yeah.
Yes. I also like to call it Threads Part 2, because once I saw that movie, I'm like, nobody can do fucking UK apocalypse like this movie. But I wanted to see, like, it could have been a 10-second thing. I wasn't expecting nuclear holocaust. I was expecting maybe a really depressing world or a really funny world, something quirky and weird. I wasn't expecting nuclear holocaust. I'm like, okay, so we've got giant stakes again.
It's shorthand. It's basically lazy writing shorthand.
That bothered me.
And while we're here, I wanted to bring this up, and God damn it, for the life of me, I can't remember the other scenes now, but I noticed a couple of scenes like that with the nuclear holocaust scene that were, to me, as someone who's well versed in the classic shit, like just a total ripoff of a scene from a classic Who episode. And like that one was probably one of the most blatant ones. I was like, this is straight. I mean,
the moment she says, why don't we just go back to 2024? It's like, oh God, here we go.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, Sarah.
It just exactly. It just put the story into a complete halt.
I don't mind it. It does not bother me.
But here's the thing. Here's what I'm wondering though. Is this part of, like, is there a story behind this? Is there a reason that we're subtly revisiting these iconic scenes from classic Who? Or is this just like JB foretold when Disney comes to take our show? Are they just doing Doctor Who's greatest hits? Like, are they just, back in the day they loved this scene, so let's fucking heist it?
I think it's a little both. And I mean, I don't want to say it's Disney doing this. It's RTD that's doing this.
This isn't,
because Disney's not going to know Parrot of Mars from the Chase.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I am so tired of the very special companion.
Right. Or how about the mysterious woman? We've not done that before. Miss Neighbor popping up in every episode.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this right now. Millie Gibson, she's okay. I mean, she's cute and all, but she's okay as an actress, but she's not winning me over. I'm not invested in her character at all. Even with the 4th episode, which we'll get into shortly there, I just didn't really find her that engaging. And I don't know why yet. I don't know. I honestly don't think we've had a really good actress in the companion role since Jenna Coleman. I hated Clara, but Jenna Coleman acted her socks off in that show. I didn't really care much for Bill, but I mean, Bill was poorly written. So she really wasn't able to do that much. Mandip Gill was just, I'm sorry, she was just
not good. I liked Bill, though. I really liked Bill.
Yeah,
but she was terribly written, but
yeah,
I like the way she played her.
Ruby is just like she's not even a photocopy. She's like a mimeograph copy of Rose Tyler.
Yeah.
My wife calls her not Rose.
This is based on like looks alone, and I feel kind of bad, but it's absolutely true. I do have to stop myself and remind myself that it's not Rose, but not the actress's fault, bless her heart. But
no, it's not.
I find myself, it's very difficult for me to get attached to any of these fucking companions at all nowadays. Yeah. And as a result, I don't give a shit about them being the most important person in the universe. Because I'm tired of that shit too,
Yeah. The whole idea of the companion originally was just, this is just a normal fucking person thrown into really bizarre circumstances.
Right.
And now it's like every companion, like you said, it's the whole fucking universe hinges on what they do. And it's like, no, that's not, that's a really far stretch from the original concept, basically. Even if you wanted to do that once, it's like, okay, you had your little Mary Sue Clara, and you got to make the whole show in the universe about her for a minute. Fucking great. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's not do it again. But it's like, now that's all they fucking do.
I mean, even with Donna, I mean, they had to make her part of the Dr. Donna, but at least Donna was a full-fledged character.
Right.
Donna had the backstory. Donna had... we had Catherine Tate, who just was just completely nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
Her and Tennant were simpatico.
She had the chemistry. She had the comedic timing. She had her you could do Shakespeare from.
Yeah, she had the realism there. She was a real. She was a real person. She was a real character. She was. She reminded me of so many brash women that I've known in my life. She has color. She has a personality. She has she has the range of emotions.
A personality that doesn't hinge on her being some universal great anomaly.
I mean, what can you say about Ruby? She's cute and she can play the piano, and that's it.
She's adorable. I'd love to have Ruby as a friend.
You only have 8 episodes, and you don't have time to really. I mean, yeah, okay. And she has her abandonment issues because she was left on the doorstep when she was a baby, and we had her, being rejected, and I mean, we haven't gotten to episode 4 yet. We haven't even talked about episode 3 yet. But she's just not grabbing me.
Yeah.
I mean, even Amy Pond was a well-rounded character, and Karen Gillan also could act her socks off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they really gave her some meaty roles, but that was back in the day where you had 13 episodes per season, and you didn't have these like long gaps in between seasons, and you really gave the character, you gave her a story. I mean, what do we know about Ruby? She was abandoned. She may have something to do with the oncoming storm or what the fuck ever.
I'm looking at this right now, and I'm thinking of Jinx Monsoon and of how kind of cool this performance is, because Jinx Monsoon is not a pretty man or a pretty lady. And there's a lot of shots in this where it looks like clown makeup, but it's like, what the fuck? I don't care. I'm going to wear that. I'm going to look hideous, and I will act my socks off, and people are going to love it. And that was the whole point of the performance. I don't care what she says about Missy. But yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking that.
Okay. All right. We'll add that to the record.
You are invited on an adventure across all of time and space, in a completely random order. It's the Police Box in the Junkyard podcast. Jump in the TARDIS with your hosts,
Eric Gulbranson,
Asad Kheshki,
and
Matthew Kressel.
explore Doctor Who TV stories, audio adventures, and books, both novels and non-fiction. The Police Box in the Junkyard podcast. It's the entire Whoniverse on shuffle. The Police Box in the Junkyard podcast is a member of the Direction Point Network and is available about once a month wherever you find your podcasts. You are listening to the Doctor Who Gives a Fuck podcast on the Direction Point Doctor Who Podcast Network. A drunken Doctor Who podcast for the end times.
Shall we move on to Boom?
Let's do it.
Okay, this was a slight improvement. I will say that Stephen Moffat did bring his A game. I'm still going to give this episode a B, maybe a B minus. We have all the Moffat tropes.
Mm-hmm.
We have, the sexual histories and proclivities of all the secondary characters. We have, this is probably more of a Chibnall thing than anything else, but we see a character, they're set up to die. Because we have the soldier who has a daughter for some fucking reason. His daughter's in the front lines.
Here's our red shirt.
Here's red shirt number 1. Red shirt number 2. We have the two. Will they? Won't they? And he ends up dying. Ruby almost dies, but of course it's Stephen Moffat. We have to bring them all back, albeit as holograms. In the Mortal Words of Dave Lister, lots of people have gone on really, really well.
Another Moffat thing. This is basically don't move, don't blink, don't breathe, don't move.
Don't move. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, and love conquers all.
I thought that was Gareth Roberts' thing.
Are you being facetious?
No,
he's not being facetious. But that was. I'm technically going to count that because that wasn't. I'm going to count that because that was technically in the Moffat era.
Okay, fair enough.
So I mean, he's not there to write it anymore because he's been canceled. So we're going to have Moffat pull that off. It was fine. I enjoyed the episode. I actually tried to watch it again tonight before we started, and I got like 10 minutes in, and it's just like, I don't know. Actually, I don't think I even got to like past the teaser, and it's just like this is kind of miserable, and I mean miserable like the setting and the situation, and it's and it's just like, God, this is kind of depressing. I don't know if I don't think I can sit and watch this one again to refresh myself for tonight's recording. It was a lot better than what the last 2 episodes, but I don't know if I'm ever going to revisit this one again.
It's not great. It's okay, but as pointed out, all the Moffat tropes are there.
We had priestess soldiers again.
And it was pretty predictable.
Mm-hmm.
And what's with fucking Moffat and it's so cheap how he all like in the timers, like in the Mummy thing. Like there's always a ticking timer with an exact time, and they even did it with fucking Ruby sitting there dying. It's she has exactly 1 minute and 48 seconds left. It's like they're not going to know that. and it's like okay, you don't have to give us an exact number and have the literal fucking clock there for us to look at. We're adults here. We can still experience the tension just knowing there's an impending deadline. We don't have to know the exact second it hits. You fucking cheap bastard. And and I think I'm the only person I didn't like this episode for all the reasons. I'm being a bit unfair because sadly to this point I think it was one of the better episodes, but that's not fucking saying much. I was looking forward to seeing an episode where we got back to Moffat in chains. Like,
yes,
Moffat with an editor over him. Moffat with someone to fucking tone his bullshit down and not drag the whole fucking universe down into his little Mary Sue fucking schemes. I was like, okay, this might actually be a return to good Moffat. No, I don't think we really got that.
That's because your editor, that's because your quote unquote editor has gone off the rails himself.
Fair, yeah.
Well, I thought it was great.
You would.
I'm sorry. I don't know what it is, but there's something about, and you talk about him being out of control. I didn't get that at all here. There's something about Stephen Moffat stories written for RTD as a showrunner that they stand out. Blink, the Doctor Dances, the
great episodes, brilliant fucking episodes.
So when I watched this, I actually thought to myself, where was this story during the 11th Doctor era when I wanted it so badly? And instead I got shit like Power of the Three. Like they finally stopped having Alex Kingston in every episode and talking about the crack. But it was just so shitty. I thought it was great. I loved the closed stage concept or the closed story concept. Usually that's a term that they use for murder mysteries that are set in one place. Like, for instance, there's been a murder on the airplane. We have 2 hours to solve it before the plane lands. Closed space. They do it in horror movies too. The Thing, sure. Alien. And we do it here. We're not in an enclosed space, of course. We are in a crater. But we're nevertheless limited to this space here because of a series of unfortunate events that happened. Namely, the Doctor just stepped on a thing. And by the way, I was getting heavy Genesis of the Daleks vibes there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that's what it was going to be, and I was like, I hope not. Yeah, I thought the writing was great. It went by so fast. I think you're just a bunch of old fuddy-duds, and maybe you watched a different show.
No, not fair. Even being an old straight white guy, I still appreciated Judy standing there with his cheeks clenched for half a fucking hour, okay?
Yeah.
There was some good aspects of this episode, and most of it involved Shooty.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Quick pause. I do want to say I actually love Shooty Gatwa as the Doctor so far. He's fucking great. He's a really good actor. He gets it. I wish they were giving him better fucking episodes to make.
Right.
But
we're back to Capaldi.
Yeah, it's like this conceptually, this Doctor's fucking great. I'm loving it, but god damn it. Give him some good stories, please.
Okay, fine. You know what? I'm going to have them redo The Devil's Chord, and it's going to end with Cilla Black coming out of the recording studio, and she sings, "Surprise, surprise." Did you know that that's Cilla Black? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm going back to the other. Do you guys ever see that meme, like on the Instas, or on the TikTok? It's the lady for the old, she's singing, "Surprise, surprise." Like, your boss says that you deserve a break, and then it's like a lame pizza party, and then all of a sudden cut to this lady going, surprise, surprise. No?
No idea what you're talking on about.
Okay, well that lady in that meme is Cilla Black, who is the person that appeared, or that the actress was playing, that was also trying to sing after they visited the Beatles. I forgot to mention that, and it was on the screen right now. So, you can just take all this out. Don't.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
Okay.
You're
No,
canceled.
no, we're not canceling you. But no, like I said, this to me was Moffat. He brought his A game, but to me, it's still like a B, maybe a B minus. I did enjoy the episode, but again, you look back on it and you think, and it's like, well, hang on, this doesn't make sense, or this why did they do this, and this is the same 5 or 6 tropes we always see in his scripts. At least we didn't have a mysterious woman lusting after the doctor.
Fucking Davies had already used it. We're already doing the mysterious woman thing. It's you can't. I don't even think Moffat would dare to double down on that.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he would. Yeah, he fucking would. What am I talking about?
Surprise, surprise. You know what? Robert O'Shea knows what I'm talking about.
Okay, good.
You know what? He's probably seen it in the Instas. That's what the kids call it, guys. Insta.
We were told for that
on
shit.
the Instas.
Instagram.com. Golly. It's Insta.
Instagram with a hard R.
That's bussin', dude. No cap.
All right. Should we get on with
which, by the way,
episode?
is speaking like that as white people. That's one of the reasons I'm looking forward to traveling by Amtrak for like 3 days, is because I grew up with the movie Silver Streak, where Richard Pryor disguises Gene Wilder by putting black shoe polish on his face in the bathroom in the bus terminal, and tells him. So Gene Wilder comes out of the bathroom with black shoe polish all over his face, and he's going, "I'm bad. I'm bad. That's right. I'm bad."
I just see Sean walking onto this train, like rubbing his hands, like, I'm gonna make all these people hate me.
You guys like murder mysteries? No? How about Doctor Who? I got every DVD at home. Yeah. They do make you sit with other people when you eat, so I can,
Oh, there you go. Just get your laptop out. Get on Tubi, put on a Doctor Who, and
have you ever seen this episode? Don't worry, I've got it queued right up.
and then they like yell at me, and then like John Quinones comes out from somewhere. Sean, you're on What Would You Do? No, that wouldn't be me. That would be. Yeah. I'm sorry. We're about to talk about the next one, aren't we?
Yeah, I forgot that. Oh, was it 73 yards?
Yes,
I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
I almost actually just said 73 meters, but it's yards.
Yeah, I was going to say 34 indictments.
American.
Yeah, why did they do yards? Don't they do metric in England?
Well, they had to dumb it down for us Americans.
I didn't even. No, and I called it. You can rewind back to an episode where I was saying they're going to dumb it down when Disney gets a hold of it. But I didn't even catch that. It didn't even register until just now. I'm like, wait, shouldn't it have been meters?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that until. Okay.
Fuck.
Interesting.
I was today years old.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's not the first time that they've done that, I think. They also changed the promotional materials for Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, where they changed the spelling of the word center. And I'm like, do you really think Americans are that? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, they're dumb. That was before COVID, so I really didn't.
Okay, can I go first on this one?
Yes, you may go first. Yes,
I've got big feelings.
Okay, lay them out, man.
I was watching this. Okay, first episode sucked. Second episode had some good points. Third episode kind of middling. So it's like, well, at least we're showing some improvement here, right?
Yeah.
And then we get to this one, and it starts off, and they got the creepy vibe, and weird shit's happening, and it's like the doctor's gone, and I do kind of enjoy an occasional just companion solo kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to see, okay, what's the companion going to do when the doctor's not around? I was liking it. Had kind of an X-Files vibe to it.
Yeah.
It's some beautiful scenery in that episode. And then fucking nothing. I felt so fucking blue-balled by this episode, because it's like they're building, and it's like, what's going on here? What's the answer? What's the answer? And then they go into the whole thing of Ruby getting older, and then it just turns out it was Ruby all along, and we're not going to bother to even fucking give any kind of fucking explanation of how this was. It was just poof, it was fucking magic. There's nothing. Like, there was no resolution to this whatsoever. It was
I absolutely agree, and I'm glad.
Like, I thought this was going somewhere really fucking cool.
I agree.
And
100%.
nothing.
Yes.
Nothing.
I still enjoyed this. That was the only problem I had with it, really. That there was just, and then all of a sudden, okay, you weren't going to even have the doctor walk on screen and just like explain it away with 2 minutes of technobabble.
Right. Yeah, didn't even give me the courtesy of a fucking throwaway line. Just total fucking, just edged, just totally fucking edged.
Yeah, they hit the reset button.
Ugh.
And the thing is, you don't know how they hit the reset. You don't. I mean, because it's like, okay, so I was watching this with Darlene. Darlene really digged this episode because she's into the weird shit. They started aging up Ruby. I think she's like in her 30s. She's in her 40s, and she didn't look like she was in her 40s at all. She just looked. I mean, they gave her like big glasses and hair.
Oh my God, she's such a baby though. There's only so much they can do to make this woman look old.
Right, and then when they had her as an old woman, they had a completely different actress playing her as an old woman, probably because Ruby would not have been able. Millie Gibson is probably not able to play an old woman heavily made up because her last gig was on a soap opera. Again, I mean, you can put Jenna Coleman in old lady makeup, and she can make that work. I mean, that was a touching scene that should have been her last scene as Clara, but I digress.
I feel you, my man.
It was at that point where it's like, okay, we know we're going to hit the reset button. You know that she's going to be back to being 20 years old at the end of the episode.
Definitely, yeah.
So you get taken out. Because it's like, okay, I am completely out now because I know that that she's not going to actually die, and that's probably her as the old creepy woman, and they're going to like somehow, I guess, switch. I don't, and then yeah, okay, and then we have the fairy circle. I kind of had to laugh, because I was thinking about the fairy circle tonight. And it would have been just really funny if we had like a miniature Matthew Waterhouse entangled in the web with his heart-on sticking out of his pajama bottoms there.
No broken star next to him.
My web!
Yeah. So at the end of this, Ruby realizes, it's me all along. And then we're led to believe she basically just follows herself around for another lifetime because
why not?
But she does it because somehow she's able to change the moment where they do not step on the fairy circle. And then we're in a new timeline now where all that shit never happened. I mean, basically they're playing up the whole, hey, fascism, let's give fascism a try here. Yeah, let's elect this crazy guy as prime minister.
I get
nuke everything.
I'm not thick.
I mean, what was his reason for getting the nukes and setting them off? Was there any motivation behind this character at all? I mean, this Hugh Grant,
psychopath,
wannabe? Yeah,
or sociopath. Yeah.
Do you guys ever this lifted a bunch of things? I know I always go back to horror movies. This lifted a lot from horror movies. Have you guys ever seen the movie The Dead? Oh, this isn't Stephen King. It wasn't a horror movie first. The Dead Zone with Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
He plays a guy who's psychic. Martin Sheen is running for president. Mm-hmm. And Christopher Walken is psychic. Whenever he touches people, he can see into their future. And he shakes hand with Martin Sheen, and he sees Martin Sheen as president sending the nukes off. And there's never an explanation for it. Mm-hmm. So then the rest of the movie, Christopher Walken spends a lot of time, I don't want to say infiltrating, but following Michael Sheen around. But I think a lot of that stuff was sort of inspired by other movies. There was a lot in this. The Dead Zone.
I hadn't made that connection, but now that you mention it, yeah, that's definitely there.
Taxi Driver, not Taxi Driver. Ooh, I don't want the new episode to coming up. Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
You talking to me?
Do they?
I don't see anyone else here. You talking to me? I said, yeah. They should have had that. Yeah, Ruby staring at the woman. Like, you looking at me? You looking at me? I don't see anyone else around here. You must be looking at me.
No, you're going into Goodfellas there.
Yeah, that's the. What do you think? I'm a clown? Like I amuse you? What the fuck is it about me that you find so amusing? No, I was gonna say. What was I saying?
Yeah, a bunch of gibberish.
Yeah. The edibles have kicked in.
No, I'm fine. Really, I'm fine.
Okay.
Oh, yes, I remember American Werewolf in London, and that scene when she goes to the pub. But the scene from American Werewolf was a little bit more creepy. And the lady in the red beret that was sitting at the bar is a character pulled from Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. We never call it The Birds anymore. We call it Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. So, yeah, I feel there is a lot of stuff in here that was pulled from other things. And that's part of the reasons why I enjoyed watching it and why I thought it was extremely well crafted until, Chris, as you explained the end.
Yeah. This shit had me doing math, dude. Because I was like the name, because the whole 73 yards.
I mean, what
anytime I see someone start dropping numbers into shit, I'm like, okay, this is a clue. This is a clue.
Yeah.
It's 73 yards. You know, the doctor stepped in like this, intricate geometric pattern. And it's like, there's something to do with math. There's math going on here. And so I'm starting to pay attention to every fucking number that gets mentioned or comes up in the episode. And it has fucking nothing to do with anything. You fucking bastards. You gave me nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, you thought you were watching like The Mole, the reality TV show.
Yeah, I was all impressed. I'm like, because I like anytime, like when I watch some M. Night Shyamalan or anything like that, it's like I'm in it or Knives Out, like I'm in it because I want to figure this shit out before they give it to me. It's like I want to not be surprised at the end. And 9 times out of 10 I am, but you live for that one fucking time you get it, And I'm sitting here, I'm trying to figure out the twist. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm listening, I'm watching numbers, I'm watching characters. I'm like, oh, there's that twist chick again. That's something. Might not have anything to do with this, but 73 yards. And, it's like, okay, and I need to know what this lady's saying to people. That's, why is she driving them away like that? And none of it. I didn't even get, I would have been happily just told all your theories are fucking wrong. This is what happened. But I got nothing.
You were saying that you were waiting to get it before they delivered it to you. I mean, they basically served this to us on a silver platter. The second she right before she walked into that football pitch, when he's rehearsing for his his rally speech or whatever, the second she stepped on, it's like, okay, I get it.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. No, I knew that was coming before.
And they had to drag it out for almost 2 minutes because it's like, oh, come on, they could have said, and like they're about to shoot her or whatever, and this is like, it's like, oh, come fucking on, we get it now.
And I'm watching that thinking, in reality, she would have just been pasted, man.
Oh yeah,
she would not have got to 73 yards. She'd have been just fucking vapor by that point.
Yeah.
In the UK?
Probably,
spelled with a O-U-R instead of an O-R.
Yeah, she would have been Vapeur.
I like that part, but okay. But are we led to believe that, okay, so since the old lady talked to the guy that was running with the funny name, are we led to believe that he is now not sane at all and he's never going to talk to anybody? I mean, obviously he can't go up to her, but how can that stop him from running for PM?
Well,
we don't know.
Well, that doesn't matter because that'll never happen because we hit the big ass reset button.
Okay.
And what's worse even is like we find out in the end that the mysterious lady was in fact Millie. The twist. That was in fact Ruby, which means Ruby somehow has this power to just completely mind fuck people with a couple of sentences all of a sudden.
Right.
Cool.
Okay.
Can we get some kind of explanation for that? Maybe?
Well, yeah, we will. We will like 5 minutes into before the end of the last episode.
Okay, I am an idiot. I thought she looked familiar, but there were a lot of old white ladies popping up in this show this season, and I did not make the connection that old Ruby was the same person as their next door neighbor.
No, she wasn't. The next door neighbor was the hiker she talked to.
Oh, okay.
When she first latches on to the ghost lady or whatever, and she runs into the lady on the trail, that was Susan Twist or whatever her name. Excuse me.
And she was the one that played the ambulance.
Right.
Yeah.
And she was the voice. I think she was the voice of the nanny in the God Awful Space Babies episode.
Yes, and she was a cafeteria worker in the music one.
Yeah.
And of course, in the first one, she was the neighbor lady. And then what was she in the? Oh yeah, she was the ambulance. That's right. Yeah. In the boom one.
Yeah.
In the boom.
Yeah.
There'll be a twist at the end.
A twist and a boom. And a big old booger monster.
Don't say. I don't want to ever talk about. I saw that movie.
What? Should we just make an agreement to never fucking speak of that episode again?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Oh no, I need purging time.
Yeah. So it just sounds that to me that our enthusiasm is gone. I don't know if it's just me not really feeling good right now, but I just I don't know, man.
I'm holding out hope that there's going to be you theorized that this is all set in Storyland.
Yeah.
I think you're onto some. I hope you're onto something because I'm not digging this whole fantasy aspect that they seem to be embracing wholeheartedly, to the point that in the last episode they even directly mentioned, it's there's a lot more fantastical things happening than normally do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's there's a lot of just flat out fucking magic going on, which that's always kind of been there in the old Doctor Who, but it was low key. For the most part, they tried to stick with technobabble and fucking sci-fi-esque shit. And it's they just seem to have completely fucking abandoned that now. And I don't want it to go that direction. I don't like it going. It's let's keep it relatively sci-fi. They're just going off the rails with it. And I'm hoping that this isn't just an overall structural change to Doctor Who, that this plays into a plot. And it turns out they're in Storyland, and that's why everything's so fucking magical and just nonsensical now, is because it basically is magic in this world. I'm kind of holding out hope that maybe this is all going to come to a head in episode 8, and there's going to be an explanation. And, maybe I'll get a little fucking hand gibber on this last episode to get me over my blue balls. And maybe there'll be some fucking explanation of what happened there. I don't know. I don't
know. Because I mean, what has RTD's track record been as far as season enders?
Yeah, that ain't good. That ain't good, boss. Chris.
He's not the worst, though. He's not the worst we've seen.
When I got blue balls, I sound like a little bit of hand gibber myself.
God damn.
Hey Jude, don't make it bad. Take a sad song and make it better. Remember to let her into your heart. Then you can start to make it better. Hey Jude, don't be afraid. You were made to go out and get her. The minute you let her under your skin, then you begin to make it better. And anytime you feel the pain, hey Jude, refrain. Don't carry the world upon your shoulders. For now you know that it's a fool who plays it cool by making his world a little colder. Hey Jude, don't let me down. You have found her, now go and get her. Remember to let her into your heart, then you can start to make it better. Take a sad song and make it better. Remember to let her into your heart, then you can start to make it better. Hum, 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 hum. Hum, 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 hum. Hey Jude.
I usually don't listen to other podcasters, but I've been sporadically listening to a few. Like I said, Rito Friscaro, I mean, they liked Space Babies, but for some reason, Shapansky really hated 73 Yards. And he had, I mean, basically for the same reasons we all voice, but he was just he acted like he was so offended. He didn't like that episode. It's like, how dare they put out something that I don't like?
Okay.
How all fucking dare they?
Well, at least he didn't like something. That I just got to say that.
Yeah, but he was so fucking dramatic how much he hated this episode. And like, and of course, Chris and Warren couldn't get a word in edgewise, which is usually the case. Just like, oh, come on, Steven. Okay, just you don't have to sell it. Okay, it's not the end of the fucking world. Well, it's the end of his fucking world because that's all. I mean, that's all his world revolves around is Doctor Who, because he doesn't watch anything else. He doesn't,
Hockey.
He's worse than I am with hockey and whatever. Hockey. Don't get me started on hockey.
I don't give a fuck.
Fucking hockey. Goddamn fucking. Like if I would have said salmon fishing. You mean fucking salmon fishing? Those salmon fucks.
Fuck
man.
Fuck those guys.
Direction point. Direction point.
A Doctor Who podcast network.